What is going on, everyone? It's Ultimate Spy 53 here, and welcome to another episode of Reviewed number 104. And today, I'm going to be reviewing the movie Shrek Forever After, the final chapter, the sequel to Shrek the Third, and the fourth and currently final installment in the Shrek franchise because of the planned fifth film. So, what can I say about Shrek Forever After the final chapter? It's more credited as that. It's meant to be the fourth movie, obviously, but because forever is like four, and it sounds like a four, so it's Forever After. So, yeah, honestly, it wasn't a bad movie, but I don't know. It's like people always say, "Oh, there's more Shrek movies." Like fourth movie, really? It's like, well, not only does it make money, but it's also an interesting story because I guess like Shrek's story was technically wrapped in the third one, but I guess there was more to tell that story, and that's why they're making a fifth one coming up either next year or the year after that. It's either year because they recently kind of say they're gonna make another one, so that's gonna be crazy. But yeah, honestly, I enjoyed it. It was not bad, honestly. I didn't hate it, but I don't really know. It was okay, I guess. It's just a Shrek movie, but like, it's one of those things where it's like they make so many movies in a franchise and it gets a little old. But honestly, the plot was actually really interesting because Shrek was like, he was tired of his life and as an ogre, and he wanted to be a real ogre. And the idea, and it takes place a little bit after the end of the third movie where he's living with Fiona, of course, with the babies, but he realizes that his life is miserable because he's having to wake up early for the babies and then take care of them, do the routine, and talk with the dragons, and then he doesn't have any time to relax. And then of course you have the the baby's birthday, and that goes crazy because he ends up getting so mad, and the cake disappears, and it's like it's crazy. So he's like no choice but make a deal with Rumpelstiltskin, who you may know from Once Upon a Time was played by Robert Carlyle, but in this version of the story, he's a different character, like he's in the fairy tale version. Of course, there's a different version of Rumpelstiltskin in Shrek the Third, I want to say it was. Yeah, I think so. Well, that was had like a beard and everything. It was just like completely wrong weird. It's like that's the only thing I didn't like about the movie was Rumpelstiltskin. He was only that because they didn't really. I don't think they realized that they had already had a Rumpelstiltskin in the third movie, and so they're like. Now that they realize, they totally missed that idea, but it also opens up to another reality because he signs a deal to make his to have a fresh start, have a different, basically a whole different reality where they never met Fiona. He basically was never born, that kind of thing. That's the whole idea of he wants to have a better life. He wants to have a 24 hours where he, or in this case forever, where he never was born, that kind of thing. So it has some interesting idea of a life where he was never born and he never met Fiona, and he's obviously feared again, and far away land is basically like this post-apocalyptic version of the town, with of course the castle being replaced by a palace with Rumpelstiltskin as the king, essentially, as the ruler, and that it was crazy. And you have Fiona, this badass warrior princess person who, I was even longer. Actually, her hair is more like, about as long as it was in the previous movies, but it's more like it's let go. It doesn't tap and or not everything. She also doesn't. She has like warrior garb, and there's actual ogres this time, which is, I found that was really cool. I found that was a really interesting idea, was having ogres in the movie, because it's about Shrek, but it's about the idea of having other ogres, and he has to basically he meets a version of Donkey that he never met. He has to convince him that he has to re-meet Donkey, re-meet Puss, which is now present in the previous movies. I actually liked the point about the movie I liked about a lot about Puss and his character development is he goes from Shrek 2 where he makes a deal with the king to get rid of Shrek, and then of course he decides that Shrek isn't that bad, so he starts calling him boss, which is weird. He's basically become part of Team Shrek, I guess you call it. Donkey is completely different. he also looks a lot different. I mean, obviously the movies came out 3 years apart. Shrek 1, Shrek 2, Shrek 3, and Shrek 4 all came out 3 years apart. Of course, the 5th one is still in development right now, but it's interesting because like animation is obviously way different, but it sets up a alternate reality. We have the king is still alive. It's said before the events of that because Ronald Wilson basically, reading about this, and everything is amazing. Of course, Shrek isn't happy, right? He's stressed out. He doesn't want the life he has. That's why when the new life, he has to he has to fall in love with Jonah again. Puss is now, like you mentioned, Puss is now like this fat cat who's like overweight, and he's like completely the not doesn't cat at all. He doesn't even have. He just left behind the name of Puss in Boots. He's not even that. He doesn't call himself that anymore. And he's treated like an ogre, like he usually is. And that's the interesting thing about that movie. The movie was the fact that it was not only was it coming to a conclusion of a final chapter, because Shrek's story was over. Basically, he fell in love with the princess that turns out to be an ogre when she because she's an ogre. That's how it happened, and then he basically has a life, and then twist was what a twist, but the other thing was with the franchise is people thought it was getting old, and it wasn't that bad, honestly. I didn't think that Shrek 4 was a bad movie. And I didn't think the Shrek franchise was going stale. Like people were like, after the third one it got really kind of boring, like it was basically the same thing. I mean, it wasn't the same thing, because kind of like with all the movies where the next one in the franchise always had that twist. Like Cinderella 3 had a twist. Shrek 4 has a twist where it's completely different. I mean, obviously the title it's got plain words because it's Forever After, and happily ever after means that, but like forever after is a play on words of the forward of the spelling forward. It spells out the word for with spelling it differently, but it's kind of a pun in that way. I don't really know, but I don't know. I it was very interesting. I felt like it. Shrek realizes that he tries to he works up to kissing Fiona. It doesn't actually work out because Fiona doesn't love him because she doesn't really know him that well. Because it's a reality where he didn't ever meet Fiona because he was born. That was one he didn't specify which date is passed to forget. So Rumpelstiltskin has to delete that one part of Shrek's life, which was when he was never born, and he becomes this revolution. He becomes part of the revolution of ogres where they're going up against the witches. And by the way, the witches look exactly like Wicked Witch of the West, aka Zelena, aka whatever version of the Wicked Witch they have. Basically, the witches all look like basically Zelena or whatever they call Zelena is the one-time version of the character, but like the general Wicked Witch of the West. She looks, it's like the witches are like all sisters, like they look exactly the same because, well, not exactly the same, but their physical appearances is more or less the same because they have the green skin of the Witch of the West. Basically, the witches are like all the same character essentially. They're just like sisters, I imagine. I don't know how it works, but it was wild. It was honestly a really crazy, thing that was that. There's obviously a lot of the same characters. You have, Pinocchio. You have the Played by Mice. You have the German pigs. All those characters, and it's just a whole different reality. And Jack just like he's hopeless. He doesn't know what to do. The contract is not fair. All this stuff. It's all different reality, and people thought the franchise was over at that point. It's like, oh my goodness, a fourth Shrek movie, really? I mean, it's not only the fact that they make money, but they tell an interesting story. And Shrek, I've enjoyed the Shrek movies so far. I kind of grew up on the movies, and when they announced the fourth one, I wasn't surprised. I was just like, huh, I was just kind of like, I wonder what this is gonna be about. But like, one thing was like, when they announced the Shrek 5, I was like, what? Why? They don't need to make more. It's kind of pointless at that point. So it's like, I kind of felt like they didn't need to make more. So, when they announced it, it's like, what else is there to tell? And with that movie, it was interesting. I liked the plot. I like the fact that it's a whole different story, a whole different reality where none of this happened. Shrek has to like basically earn Fiona back, and she doesn't believe him, and it's just like it's awkward, and it's wild. And then of course Rumpelstiltskin looks completely different than he is in Shrek 3, which is weird. But overall, I think it's really it's really good because you see Shrek, he realizes what he's done. He realizes the contract he's made is like it's a contract that he should never have made, and so he's like, this is a terrible idea, and he's got to undo it somehow. But that's basically what the movie is telling the story of, is wrapping up a chapter in a DreamWorks franchise in a nice little bow to send the character off, because there's not much else to tell about the story of Shrek. He's happy, he's got his family, and that's pretty much, of course, in the movie he gets stressed out and makes a contract about his skin. That's the whole thing about the movie, and we get to see the last little thing of the king and queen. But heck, even the king makes an appearance in human form, which is great because it's a flashback. But yeah, I enjoyed it to an extent, but it was, I don't know, it was a very different Shrek movie, because the past three were kind of, they felt very different. I think that after the second one, it was a very different movie, and kind of the fourth one, it's like, what the hell? You got actual ogres now. It's like Shrek is not alone. He's not alone in the world of the ogres. He's actually, within that world, like there's others there, which is a first. But honestly, I found it enjoyable. I did. I found it very, very good. You had to have, like Shrek had to re-meet Donkey. He had to, Donkey had to re-meet the dragon. Everything. It's all over again, and it's like the post-apocalyptic world of Far Land. Everything's post-apocalyptic. In fact, what he's seen, he realizes that his swamp is gone. It's like a dry wasteland. It's wild. Like his swamp is like nothing. It's just gone. So it just goes to show you the I guess the theme and the message that this movie is sending. Basically, be careful what you wish for, or be careful what you want, because it could end up being something you don't want. Exactly. That's kind of like the good theme about the movie is be careful what you want and be careful what you sign up for, because you never want to know what the deal is going to be, and that's the crazy part about it. But overall, I think it wasn't a bad movie. I think that the crazy part was, Shrek willing to accept the fact that, he may never have his life back, and in fact, he has to work hard for it, and that was the interesting part about it. But also, really cool thing about the end of the movie was they had some really cool credits. And the movie was not even. There's only like so much I can say about the movie, because it's really not even a long movie. It's just like the plot went really fast. But I mean, it was okay, but it definitely felt different. Had that kind of Coraline vibe to it, where he wins the day and everything goes back to normal kind of thing. But the ending credits were like basically a recap of all the past three movies, which I think is really cool. Kind of like how they did with Spider-Man, the Spider-Man trilogy, where they kind of like recapped the past two movies. Like if you're watching the third movie or watching the second movie, they recap like a couple of frames from the first movie, and then the third movie, where they recap a little bit of the second movie, and third movie, and also the first movie. Actually, the first movie and the second movie. And this one, they kind of recapped a little bit of the first movie and the second movie, then the third movie, and then finally, where we are now. So I like that part. That was a really cool part of it. I mean, obviously, music is always amazing. It's the same kind of thing. Basically, they reused soundtrack. The fact I think they reused the Believer music, I'm a Believer song. I think they did. I don't know. It's crazy, but yeah. So I thought it was okay, And the following movie that came after that, because last week I talked about Shrek the Hall, which is the Christmas special that came after Shrek the Third, and then there's this Halloween special that came after Shrek the Fourth, Shrek 4. Actually, the recap for Shrek Forever After did contain, like, it had even the Christmas special in there, which is actually really cool. So I mean, obviously the Shrek Forever After is supposed to be called, it's supposed to, the idea of it's the final chapter, because it's marketed as Shrek Forever After the final chapter. That was the whole idea of it. I mean, it's obviously not going to be the final chapter. Currently it is, but that was not the point. But the point about the following special, it takes place shortly after Shrek Forever After, and it deals with basically Halloween. You have, the families gather for Halloween and scaring some kids, and you have, Shrek taking his friend, the three German pigs, the wolf, Pinocchio, Puss, and Donkey. Of course, Donkey is voiced by a different actor this time, although, trust me, it sounds almost exactly the same. Kind of like what they're going to do with Incredibles 2, where the voice actor for Dash is the same. Well, he's not the same, but he sounds the same. So Donkey sounds very similar to Eddie Murphy, but he's not the same actor, which is crazy. But with this movie, he was a different actor, of course. But like, you know, basically the plot of the movie is it takes place after Shrek 4 after when everything back to normal, of course. And then, you know, Shrek is adjusted to life. He realizes what he's done in the previous movie, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna accept my life right now. It can be stressful, but I'm just gonna accept it. And so he takes his friends to Farquaad's castle, which was apparently, you know, it's no longer really in use because Farquaad's dead, kind of thing. So basically, with that movie, or that short, I guess, is it's basically Shrek, you know, all the friends talking, you know, sharing scary stories. Some of them are really crazy. Like, I think one of them had to do with waffles. Oh, that was actually a thing in the fourth movie too. Because everyone knows Donkey loves waffles, and he fell for that trap in the fourth movie. But like, but you have the waffle eating donkey thing. You have the gingerbread man, Genji's new girlfriend, is actually voiced by Kristen Shaw. Would you guys that? That's pretty awesome. And you know, in that story, he basically, his girlfriend dumps him or whatever, and he gets a new one. Turns out she's really attached to her because she's so sweet. And then he doesn't want to because she's so sweet. It's way too much. So he's like, he doesn't want to be with her, and so she makes like the zombie army, and it's, I don't know the classic name is, he gets eaten, but it's pretty dark, you know. And then go Pinocchio, where he becomes possessed by the cricket from the fairy tale, Pinocchio, which is pretty cool. And I think Puss, you know, fighting Prince Charming, which is also a different voice actor. So, yeah, I mean it's crazy, but I think the final one is Shrek telling Donkey about Farquaad like coming back, and then of course and then eventually just ends after that, and then they dump, you know, they pelt some kids with candy. That's basically that. But overall, I think it's the story of both Shrek Forever After and the Shrekless, which is the special, the Halloween special that comes after the movie plot-wise. I think they really sets a good bow for the movie, because it kind of like wraps up the story, even though there's technically supposed to be a fifth one coming, but currently there's only 4. I don't know what more they could do with the fifth one. What else they could do? His story's over. What else could they do? I mean, they're gonna be writing it. I mean, the writers for Austin Powers, I've never actually seen the movie. I ended up watching them just as a movie. I don't know. I've never seen the Austin Powers movie, but like, I don't know. I might watch them. But the writers for that are going to be writing Shrek 5, which it could be a reboot or it could be a rehash or something. I don't know what else they could tell. What more could they tell of Shrek's story? It's done. It's completed. What else do they need? But as for the fourth movie, I think it was a very clever twist of a movie. Like, in terms of plot, was a very twist. It was a cool twist. You know, didn't expect that to happen at all. I mean, I only seen it the second time seeing it, so it's a while. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's interesting to see twists in movies. Kind of like with Cinderella 3, where they had the twist, but you know, it's always fun. I kind of like the plot twists, kind of, you know, with movies. It's because they have to have some kind of ideas. So that's pretty much all I can say. And that's all I'm gonna say for Shrek Forever After the final chapter. There's not really else I can say about the movie, but that's pretty much it. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't. I don't know. It's a good little, you know, tie to the bow that was the Shrek franchise, and I'm glad it came to a conclusion, even if there's gonna be a fifth one. But you know, there's only 4 for now, so what do you expect? Because they haven't really given any plot details about what's going to happen, so who knows. But anyway, I'm going to give this movie on a scale of 1 to 10, like I always do. I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10, because of the plot's interesting twist. I like that, although I didn't like the fact that Rumpelstiltskin has a different... He looks different in this movie than the other does, and also I don't know, I didn't enjoy it as much as I did because of all the characters were changed completely, in the plot twist was just crazy. But overall, I enjoyed it, and it wasn't bad. You know, I think 8/10 is actually a pretty good score for a movie like that. So that's all I can say about Shrek Forever After the final chapter, aka Shrek 4. You know, the final chapter, if I call it that. You can either call it Shrek Forever After the final chapter, or you can call it Shrek 4 the final chapter, or just simply Shrek 4. Either one. They didn't really mark it as that, they just kind of played the words forever after, for, whatever. So anyway, that's it for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Reviewed. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button. I really do appreciate the support. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe for more episodes of this series and other series that I do, as well as other great content. And I'll be back next time with another episode. Alright? See ya.